Greetings summoners, the first ranked split 2020 will end in less than a month. How's your rating? Climbing high, innit? Make sure you share your stories in the comments below. But today, as every 2 weeks, we'll go through all the lanes from top to support and have a look at the most significant changes, as well as give you a piece of advice on how to adapt to the meta. Let's roll! In this patch, like in the previous one, we have more buffs than nerfs. What's most important, the influence of top laners will be increased in the next updates. In the previous patch, if you remember, the Bami Cinder item line was buffed. Riot want to go even further by indirectly buffing melee champions and nerfing ranged ones. The enlarged jungle champion pool is getting stronger. Wukong's rework is once again delayed, but first things first. And let's start with turret plates. Turret plates grant more gold, take 17% reduced damage from ranged champions and have higher resist stats. It means that a better matchup won't guarantee a destroyed tower. Gold per plate increased by 40. Riot want to encourage active laners and their junglers who focus on an aggressive early game. Tower changes will affect all the lanes. The mid lane is already flooded with melee champions and this rework will shift the balance even harder. Moving on to champions, On and Set get nerfed this time. On nearly lost a part of his damage on Bellows Breath, but gladly this nerf remained on PvE. Passive empowered damage decreased, item auto upgrade level increased, ally item upgrade available 1 level later. It will probably lower the champion's win rate by 1%, but won't kick him out of the A+ or S tier. As for Set, base armor, health regeneration and health regeneration growth decreased. Our slow duration decreased as well. This is definitely a blow to his laning phase. Yet W and R have the same mechanics, so while his shield is still strong, Set can settle it down. Junglers, 2 hyper-farm champions get buffed, that's Graves and Kayn. Graves' base MR and MR growth increased, Q cost now flat, cooldown decreased. Kayn's passive orb gain increased, W slow increased as well. Overall, both junglers are in good shape right now, their win rate is above 50%. In fact, these changes are supposed to make them more popular in solo queue. Amumu and Rammus get nerfed, call it a rollback of the 10.4 buffs. The reason for this nerf is a sharp increase in their win rate both in silver and bronze, from 50-51% to 55-57%. In the previous episode, we mentioned that all the jungle changes had negatively affected the popularity of the role itself. Now Riot are trying to compensate for that by enlarging the jungle champion pool. In the previous patch, we witnessed the first wave of those innovations. After a thorough analysis, we can say that this attempt has almost completely failed. Diana's win rate in the jungle is still 49%. Garen, Darius and Mordekaiser have slightly improved their positions, yet they lag behind with a ratio of 45%. As for others, Talon, Zed and Gnar, they have less than 40%. The buff campaign continues in this patch. Darius, Mordekaiser and Poppy now deal a bit more damage to monsters. We'll keep an eye on these guys, but don't rush to lock them in ranked games. In the mid lane, we only have buffs. Nico's base AS growth and ratio increased, EAP ratio increased, R shield increased as well. It means now her AS is just like it was in Season 9. The Shape Splitter passive is rather weak, but on-hit damage builds may still come back. Lissandra's QAP ratio increased, since 9.7 Lissandra has been getting systematically buffed. Now she deals high damage and has a good scaling, but a long Q cooldown won't let her get into the S tier. Bottom lane, here we have a couple of buffs. Slowly but surely, Riot are bringing Siva back to life. Her Q damage increased later. Our minimum movement speed now scales. It's no secret that this meta is full of tanks and CC, which means choosing a position in teamfights will be more and more difficult. In such circumstances, Siva with her boomerangs can take her niche. Now, Kai'Sa's changes aren't exactly a buff. This is rather an attempt to rebalance her potential. Riot are trying to split her AP and AD builds, thus making hybrid itemization less effective. AP and AD builds will now be stronger but more situational. If you have squishy opponents, choose AP for poking and bursting your enemies with W. And against tanks, build AD and abuse your Q to shred the enemy frontline. In general, these changes should benefit Kai'Sa, so we expect her win rate to grow. And of course, last but not least, supports. Let's start with nerfs. That's gonna be Bard and Blitz. Fun fact, this is the first nerf to Bard ever. Until now, Bard has never been so high in the win rate table. Thanks to the alcoves and their reawakened interest in this champion, he's found himself in the S tier. The nerf is insignificant and won't affect the champion's rating too much. It's time to play Bard, guys. Blitz's base armor decreased by 3, no big deal, so you can just keep hooking. Sona's base AD and AD growth increased, E self-movement speed increased and now flat. Riot still can't decide how fast this support is supposed to move. Let's hope that this change is final. If you played Sona before it was cool, don't be scared to pick her again. Her potential has been fully restored. Alright, and finally, item changes. Blade of the Ruined King current health damage increased for melee champions and now equals 12%. Ravenous Hydra lifesteal increased. Titanic Hydra passive damage to targets in the cone increased. All these changes are aimed at such champions as Riven, Jax, Fiora, Renekton, Shen and other top laners. Item sets without Sterok's Gauge and the Black Cleaver are now more valuable. Such junglers as Master Yi, Warwick and Shaco will also benefit from these changes. That's it, top lane balance fixes will also affect the jungle. And this is pretty much it for now, guys. Patch 10.5 has brought many changes, but this is just the beginning of the season. It's gonna be even more interesting, so stay tuned. On this note, as always guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and of course good luck in your solo queue.